how y'all doing? Happy Wednesday. Happy Tech Future Summit. It's really good to be here, Nick.
So I'm gonna do a point of privilege. I hear you're under Grammy consideration.
Yes, my new album is under Grammy consideration, and the Recording Academy is voting this week as we speak, and it's a really beautiful project called Let Me Be Water that I'm going to be presenting for you today, and we have 40 plus women and gender expansive people credited on the record, and in the tech world, in music, only 2% of the modern music that we listen to is produced and engineered by women and gender expansive people, and so we're trying to put the album forward and combat that statistic and get some Grammy recognition. So any folks of you who have friends in the Recording Academy, let them know. It's Madame Gandhi, Let Me Be Water, New Age album.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot. I know you're coming out here to do your thing, but can you show us why you are under Grammy consideration? Come on,
okay. Should we have a little energizer? Are y'all in the mood for some tunes, for some music? Yeah, let's have a little energizer. All right, David, my brother.
Come on, hype me up.
Yeah, good. Is it loud enough out there? Very good. Hey. Listen up. Hey.
Some days I'm quiet, release my thoughts by writing. Get solo time in, reminded that silence helps me go inward, manifest my life's work outward. Sharing my light when I'm charged up. I gotta protect my inner peace, direct my energy, remember who I've come to be. Take a breath and find your center. You can realign. Just rest, recover, care for you. Expand your mind. 'Cause no, you are divine. We are divine. Pause. You can put up walls or break them down. Stay soft. When the world is hard, can you stop and take a walk? You'll regulate your own emotions. Calm. Keep your calm. Yeah. I gotta protect my inner peace, direct my energy, remember who I've come to be. Listen up. Take your time, take a breath and find your center. You can realign. Just rest, recover, care for you. Expand your and find your center. You can realign. That's it. Recover, care for you. Expand your mind. Oh, you are divine. Hey, we are divine.
That's it. Thank you to my backup dancers. I love you very much. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for moving with me, for grooving with me. I'm very happy to be here with you. This is maybe my 12th LWT, you know, my first Tech Futures, but it's always an annual reunion, and I'm very touched to come back. My name is Madame Gandhi. I perform as Madame Gandhi. I'm a born and raised New Yorker, so it's always very good to come back to the city and be here staying with my brother, and it's wonderful. My connection to tech was I was a math major, you know, 15 years ago in school, I was a math major. And I had my first job in the music industry at Interscope Records, which is home to Kendrick Lamar and Lady Gaga and all of the big artists. And my job was to analyze Spotify streams coming into the label and really sort of be one of the first digital analysts in music. And Spotify had just launched in the US, and so I felt very lucky as a young person to be analyzing data, to understand how we as artists can be interpreting, marketing, and really getting the music to the world. But I also, you know, I used to have this kind of jealousy of my friends who were traveling the world, drumming for Justin Bieber and playing sax for Katy Perry and what have you. And I think jealousy is one of the most useful emotions if you really look at it, because if you don't manifest it for negativity, it's actually just reflecting something within you that you want for your own life. And so as a young person, I thought, either I want to go further into the music industry and be signing other bands and developing myself as a business leader, or I want to be performing and producing music of my own with thoughtful messages and conscious mantras. And around that time, I got accepted to Harvard Business School to go out and study and do my MBA and perhaps go back and work at a Spotify or a YouTube, what have you, which was amazing. But I also got the chance to be M.I.A.'s touring drummer. Are there any M.I.A. fans in the room, in the roof? Yeah. So M.I.A., the famous song is Paper Planes, and this was 2013. And so I was drumming all over the world for her while doing my MBA, and this was about a decade ago. It was a really, really beautiful time. It was a powerful time, and as a young person drumming, I really felt exposed to the power of music with a message. When you take really dope electronic music, dance music, percussion, drumming, production, you get people in their heart space, but then you deliver a message of awareness. The power of music is so rich. When I was graduating business school, though, I felt a little bit of imposter syndrome. I felt, the M.I.A. tour has finished. I don't know if I'll get called back. Let's see. And I didn't want to be only in a position of dependency. I wanted to be able to write my own music, produce, perform. And so that's when I started developing my project as Madame Gandhi, taking conscious messages, lyrics, feminist messages, lyrics. It was the first time Donald Trump was running against Hillary Clinton. It was a very women's march time. It was a very feminist time, and the music really found its home. But more interestingly, at that same time, a little bit separately, and I was very inspired by the talk earlier about athletics and about training ourselves in our body, I felt as a musician I wasn't taking care of myself in my body. And so while I was pursuing some of the work that I was doing, what motivated me was to start training and start running. And I used to see all the runners on the Charles River in Boston. I felt, wow, I'd love to be one of these runners. And once again, that sort of feeling of jealousy, like I'm never going to be the person who gets up at 6 in the morning when it's snowing, going for a run, But I was motivated by the tenacity and the rigor. So I started training for the London Marathon, and when I arrived at the finish line, at the start line of the London Marathon, I felt, this is going to be an incredible experience. But at the same time, I realized I was about to be on day 1 of my cycle, day 1 of my period. And for those of you on the roof today who do not have a period, let me tell you what you're not trying to do on day 1 of your cycle. It's run a marathon. And so, like many of us who have been caught unprepared on our cycle, I started evaluating my options. I didn't have a tampon or a pad. I didn't really know if those options would actually be suitable for 4 hours of running. And even though I knew it was radical, I was like, I'd rather free bleed and just see what happens than deal with these products that are not suitable for the moment. And so this was 10 years ago. It was 2015. It was the London Marathon. And I started running, and I started bleeding. And I realized, I was like, wow, this is punk rock. Like all around the world, every day, women and people who bleed are doing incredible things, like running companies and being parents and changing the planet. And yet, not only are we not talking about what's happening with our bodies, we're actually hiding it away in shame. It's completely baffling and completely backwards. We should be stepping into our power and celebrating the fact that every single day, every single month, we bleed and we give life, and it's profound. And so I crossed the finish line, 100%. So I crossed the finish line, and I was bleeding, and I was running, and I was proud of myself. My dad and my brother were there, so I sort of ran with pulling my shirt down, kind of, because it's so interesting, because I was in my power, and yet that was a bit too intimate of an interaction, So it's so deep, it's so multi-layered. But I crossed the finish line, and I wrote about this experience, and I wrote about how, I'm actually in a position of privilege to even run in the way that I'm choosing to run. And that women and trans folks and people who bleed all across the planet are not in that same position to own our voice and behave in a way that is authentic. And that stigma, the inability to talk confidently and comfortably about our own bodies, it's one of the most effective forms of oppression, because it denies us the opportunity to talk about our real experiences. So with bravery, with tenacity, I wrote about this experience, crossing the finish line, free bleeding, the London Marathon, and the story went viral. And it really started this sort of global conversation about why is it that we treat menstrual health with such stigma, when actually it's an education opportunity, it's an opportunity for us to bond over very private and intimate experiences, and for us to actually take care of our health and prevent so much of what's happening around the world when it comes to stigma and women not going to school. So it was important for me to share that, because this was the context of the first sort of half of my work, really leaning into the feminist opportunity of storytelling and music. And so I used to perform at lots of different events similar to this, just really evaluating our personal power and what it is that we're doing with our bodies and our work. When the pandemic hit 5 years ago, I found myself once again in a period of introspection like many of us. And many things happened. I had to just take a moment to make sure that I wasn't getting affirmed and accolades from the outside in, that my confidence and my joy and my sense of spirituality was coming from the inside out. And so a big part of my journey was like stopping drinking, stopping smoking, cleaning up my diet, focusing on eating plant-based, things like that, just so that I didn't have the crutches to avoid the emotional work that I knew was required of me as a musician and as someone on my path. And so that really was facilitated by spending time in nature. I'm a New York City person. My family is Indian. We lived between Mumbai, here, London. Central Park was our nature. And so it was important for me to sort of take a bit of space from the matrix world and from tech and from Spotify and from Apple Music numbers and these kinds of things and actually have a moment inward. And when I spent time in nature, I was like, wow, I felt so accepted. Nature has this really beautiful and forgiving way of just allowing us all to be who we are, to be with our vibration, to not have to focus on our phones and our perceptions and all of the bullshit that comes often with living in this matrix world, which is very rewarding at times, but also very draining. And so those profound changes between 2020, 2021, 22 were so important for me because I was able to sort of nurture my confidence from the inside out, not only from the accolades on the outside in, especially having South Asian, very high-achieving parents. So that was a good moment for me. And when you have transformative experiences, it's only natural to then say, wow, how do I give back? Because in the same way now I walk as this agent for change and I'm falling in love with the planet and extending my work not only as a feminist, but now as an eco-feminist. How can we look at the way that we treat the planet is the same way that we treat feminine energy on this earth, that we treat feminine people? It's exploitative, it's taking, it's without a mindset of sustainability. There's so much work to do in both spaces. So I started sampling the sounds of nature. I started making beats out of the sounds of nature. I learned a very beautiful process where I sampled the micro frequencies in the pebbles, in the wind, in the stream sounds that I was recording, and actually learned how to produce electronic music from the micro-sampled frequencies. So in the same way, you might walk into a grocery store, and you might say, okay, where does this food come from? Is it vegan? Is it organic? Is it non-GMO? The question that I'm interested in is, where does your music come from? And what if not only the lyrics were good for you, but the actual electronics and the music were 100% organically sourced from nature sounds? And we actually are using technology to intervene and give back and provide a different opportunity in a problem that tech has solved. So this was my journey a few years ago. We won awards for this work. We've put the music out on Splice so that other producers can download all of these beats and these sounds that we've made. And in 2022, the sort of capstone of this work and this project was being able to go out to Antarctica. So I went to Antarctica, we sampled the sounds of glaciers melting in the ocean, quite literally the sound of climate change, the most beautiful and tragic sound at the same time. I'm gonna show you a little bit of a video about that work. And when we went on to put this music on Spotify, the very beautiful part about this is it doesn't go on Spotify or streaming services. We don't wanna be commercializing and capitalizing on it until the loop is closed. And so when I linked up with Brian Eno's Earth Percent organization, which actually credits nature as an artist on Spotify and on Apple Music and all of the streaming platforms, Tidal, Amazon, it was really an amazing opportunity to hack the system that all of the artists are complaining about and actually redirect everyone's streaming royalties back to the planet. So right now, if you were to go on your phone and you type in Madame Gandhi and you listen to the songs that I've put out that feature nature as an artist, by just listening to it, you're redirecting a portion of the streaming royalties back to nature conservation. And so that was the closed loop that was interesting and the opportunity. Thank you for listening. So we're gonna show you now some of the time in Antarctica. We're actually gonna show the Antarctica Splice video first. And without further ado, let's go to Antarctica. Let's check it out.
Just arrived to Antarctica. It's like completely fresh and like divinely blue.
My name is Kiran Gandhi. I perform as Madame Gandhi. I am a drummer, a musician, a producer, a speaker. I had the opportunity to go out to Antarctica with an incredible group of musicians, activists, creators, entrepreneurs, tech leaders, and really record the sound of climate action, the sound of climate change, the sound of glaciers melting. And really the idea coming back with all of these nature sounds is, as a musician, can I use my gift, my talent, my passion to create empathy and awareness around climate change? And can it inspire climate action? And the more we fall in love with our planet, the more it is that we feel motivated to do something. And so this pack has a lot of heart, it has a lot of creativity, it has a lot of love. And the idea is hopefully that folks all around the world, the top producers, are making their organic beats, sampling the sound of climate change.
Right now, this is day 2 of the expedition, and I'm recording some of the sound of air releasing from the icebergs, which just sounds beautiful. It sounds like crackling, it sounds fresh, it sounds alive.
My favorite sound to record was absolutely the sounds of glaciers melting underwater. I would listen and I'd be like, wow, life is amazing, water is amazing, the planet is amazing, and yet that very sound is the sound of the planet melting. So it's actually quite a tragic sound. And so I thought that interaction in that moment was quite profound, and we captured a lot of that in the pack.
Yeah, that's perfect. You can actually pause the video right there. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So this is the work, this is what interests me, and I've always been someone who enjoys music technology. I've always thought of my artistry as, let's get some loving Pisces Justin Bieber vocals, wholesome messages. Let's get some M.I.A. beats, creative, percussive, global, electronically interesting. And then let's get the drums from Nigeria, from India, from Fela Kuti, from Afrobeats in the 70s, the heart, the real instrumentation. And can we make a master project that has awareness of the planet, awareness of gender liberation, and is strong in the message? And for me, sometimes it's like, you know, we're all on this journey, evolving, growing as humans. But when we take a step back and observe, I think it's so important for us to trust the path. And everything that I've learned studying gender, celebrating the feminine and masculine energies within all of us, are the same work that I get to apply when I do this work looking at the planet. And it's so interesting because in a way I feel late to the game. I feel late to my awareness when it comes to the environment. And yet, when you have these transformative exchanges, you can't look back. So I'm a changed agent. I'm here to do the work. And it's really a blessing to use the music for this work. So we're going to show you now a song called In Purpose. In Purpose is 100% organically sourced from the Antarctica field recordings that I captured for 2 weeks. We will hear the glacier bass, the Arctic wind synthesizer, the penguin arpeggiator, the ice chip drums. So it's really an honor to present this music tech side of things at a tech conference. And without further ado, this is In Purpose featuring nature. And I invite all of you to just close your eyes. Nice deep breath in. Big sigh out. Ha. Listening to the penguin arpeggiator. The Arctic wind. Glacier bass. In purpose. In purpose. In purpose. In purpose. My goal is to change the way I walk the earth with passion, awareness, and consciousness first. I bring my own bottle, I create less trash. These changes aren't hard. I majored in math, went to Antarctica, expanded my mind. The penguins and glaciers are planets divine. Glaciers were melting, I listened with ease, both stunning and tragic. I listened with peace. Pandemic taught me to soften my sound. Listen with stillness and kindness and ground. I walk with passion and I walk with purpose to protect the surface. offering now, a musical gift protecting our sound. Each choice we make is an offering now, a musical gift protecting the sound. That's a penguin trap beat. And that's it. Thank you. So this work is very special, and as Nick shared earlier, it's culminated in a very beautiful album called Let Me Be Water. It's Let Me Be Water by Madame Gandhi. It's on all the streaming services, and we are on the long list for Grammy consideration. All of the Recording Academy is voting now. And so it's been really wonderful to share the fact that we have 40 different women and songwriter producers credited on the record. We have nature credited on the record. A portion of the streaming royalties go back to the planet. And it takes time to do things with care. I know that we have so many entrepreneurs and leaders in the room, and I just want to say I honor you, I respect you, I see you. It's been a joy to listen to some of the talks earlier today, and every year I come, I'm blown away. And may we keep on this work. May we keep doing this, this meaningful and incredible work. I have a little time left in my talk if there's a question or two, but I do plan to hang out, and I'm madamegandhi@gmail.com. It's very easy. I'm very accessible. But yeah, if there's a question or two, please. What's next? So funny. After this, I'm going to the studio tonight. We are finishing like a very queer love pop album. So that's a fun, we have to make sure that we express all sides of us. And I think being in a really beautiful relationship right now, my partner is in London. She has 3 girls. She was the first woman to win the gold medal in boxing as a British boxer. She's just a champion and big inspiration of mine. So the pop album is next. Yes.
Hello, Testy.
Hi, thanks so much for speaking today. My name is Liz. I've seen you the past 2 years too. You're incredible. My question is in regards to organically sourced music. Are you or people you know working on making sure like the instruments, the recording equipment, etc., are also organically sourced? Like, is that possible?
I love it. This is such a good question. I think that the idea is, for the piece that I performed today, we recorded the nature samples, we micro-sample these field recordings, and then we re-sculpt them into the electronic music that you hear today. And so that process is 100% organically sourced. But in terms of the collaborators that I'm working with, the studios we're connecting with, we're always asking the question, are you consciously minded? 2 weeks ago, I performed at New York Climate Week. We did a huge bye-bye plastic campaign, removing plastic waste from the music industry and entertainment and festivals. When you see festivals, when they're done, the whole floor is covered in plastic. So when you ask this question, I'm thinking about the music industry as a whole. Can we be organically sourced and mindful in all of our actions? And it's small changes. I'm not 100%, but I'm on the journey, so I appreciate you asking that. And we can all bring a little bit of gentle awareness, not shaming each other, but just asking the questions. Yes?
Congratulations on everything that you've accomplished and will accomplish moving forward. My question is more juvenile. How did you fall in love with drums? And when did you recognize that Afrocentric, R&B, hip-hop was your flavor?
Yes, good question. So I was 5 years old in New York City, okay? I have very strict Indian parents. In front of the parents, Harrison, our bus driver, would play classical music. So in front of the parents, we would board the bus, 5 years old, and he'd play classical music. But then smartly, as soon as the doors would close and we would drive away from the parents, he would turn it back to Hot 97, which is the hip-hop station, okay? So I was 5 years old in New York City, driving up and down Manhattan to school with a 25-minute ride, listening to Nas, Illmatic, Lauryn Hill, and my mind was open from a young, spongy age. And luckily, I was smart enough to clock the sexism that exists in a lot of our music industry and to understand that the Spice Girls were my hero because they had girl power. But I knew that the cool factor, the swag, the musicality, the brilliance of these artists was where my heart really lied. So that's my answer for you. Thank you for that question. And drumming, we'll chat later. Let's drum all the time. I'm going to Lagos on Monday. I'm going to perform in Fela Kuti's shrine on Monday.
Thanks for everything. You're amazing. There's a big focus of AI at this conference. And I love that you brought nature and the climate change into focus. How can AI leaders address the impact that we're having on the climate and on the environment and on the social justice landscape?
Yes, I really appreciate you bringing this. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I told Leanne, as an attendee, I wanted to attend this year so that I also actually can be learning the answer to this question. Simple things, like I like on my Google how I can change it. If it's a simple question, I can have the search results show me Google results, which don't drain the planet of its energy. But if I want a more sophisticated result, sure, then I can turn on Gemini. But at least I have the conscious choice whether to consume a higher amount of energy or lower amount. Simple things like this and educating each other are small, tangible examples of what motivates me. I also feel like by existing in climate spaces, tech spaces, and music spaces, I then feel like I get to have a breadth and depth of exposure to the way people are thinking about things. When I go to Europe, it's just amazing. Europe is far beyond in the conversation when it comes to climate. They don't mess around over there. And so spending time overseas has softened me and humbled me as to what's possible. And there's a lot of young entrepreneurs who are trying to solve the problem of bringing renewable and sustainable energy to power AI more responsibly with acceptance that it's happening whether we like it or not. So thank you for this. Yes. I'll repeat the question. Yes, the question is, Kieran, you're very high energy. Do you ever meditate? Do you ever think about the opportunity for your music to be meditative? And the answer is, of course, absolutely. There's 3 albums on my Spotify as well that are only meditation music. The first uses the Antarctica sounds. It's called Madame Gandhi Antarctica Meditation. There's both the guided with my vocal guiding you through the meditation, and then unguided if you just want to be in Antarctica without any human presence. We have the same for when I went to the Arctic, and we have the same for when I went to the Amazon. So it's very important for me to offer what I think of as both solar, which is pop, which is meeting people where they're at, high energy, but then also lunar. We just had a full moon. We have a lot of dialed in astro yogis in this conference, I'm sure. And so having those private moments to heal, to meditate, to go inward, to be soft and gentle, the yang, the yin, both are extremely important, and I integrate them actively into my practice. So absolutely, there's some meditations online, and I love leading meditative sound bath experiences as well. Thank you. We're done. We did it. Very good. Thank you so much. I'm Madame Gandhi, and see you very soon. Thank you. Love you. Thank you.